Hello and welcome to my channel. If you enjoy crochet and scary stories, then you are going to enjoy this one. This one's titled The Woman in the Chair. Many stories have been told of presences which refuse to leave their familiar home surroundings after their deaths. Less common, but definitely experienced by some, including a Savannah woman with some psychic abilities, is the phenomenon of haunted antiques. Mrs. Doris Pearson, a friend of Stephen's, who now lives in Ardsley Park, enjoys buying and fixing up old homes and furnishing them with period furniture. Her most memorable experience, she told us, was while she was living in Gordonston several years ago. She had just bought a handsome Jacobean Revival armchair, a solid mahogany piece dating from the 1800s. It had been covered originally in deep purple velvet with a fringe around the bottom. The first thing that attracted me to it were the arms, she recalled as she told the story at the house on Bull Street. The rest of it was dusty, but the arms were shiny at the ends where you would grasp them to pull yourself out of the chair. It had seen a lot of use. I pictured it as someone's favorite piece of furniture. The seat was completely out of it. There was just a wisp of fabric there. After buying the chair at the Bay Street shop, Doris took it home and asked her husband to put it in the garage. He misunderstood and instead carried it into the dining room. As Doris was putting dinner on the table, she decided to move it after they ate. So we were having dinner, she continued. Suddenly I looked up and saw a little wispy old lady in a long chiffon Victorian dress sitting in the chair. Her gray hair was done up on the top of her head in a little knot, and my cat was sitting on her lap, although there was no bottom in the chair at the time. Well, I screamed and jumped up from the table. My husband nearly choked, not knowing what was going on. He never saw anything. The cat jumped off the chair in such a rush that the chair tripped over with a crash. I haven't seen the poor lady since. I guess we scared her as badly as she did us. Anyway, I couldn't part with the chair, but I had it recovered in a very different material, painted white so you wouldn't recognize it. As you see, it is now in the hall. One thing, though, I have noticed that my cat still really likes that chair. Another strange incident at the Pearson home came after the purchase of an old washstand. It was a handsome piece of solid oak. At first it was in the hall, she said, and we kept hearing strange noises, children, doors, so forth. We would look and nothing would be there. I didn't really connect it with the washstand at first. Well, we moved it up to the attic and the noises and bangings and that kind of thing got worse. One night I woke up and heard this terrible crash. I thought the cat had knocked over some old picture frames I was working on up there. I went tearing up the stairs, ready to kill the cat. I opened the door and turned on the light. The cat was there, but sound asleep. It just blinked at me. Nothing else was there but the frames and that darned washstand. It was a nice piece, but it wasn't worth the trouble. It went off to the dealer that day. Her latest experience, she added, happened when she moved to a Savannah house built about 1916. While in the attic one day, she was surprised to see a feminine little china figurine in an otherwise empty space. Dating from the 1920s, the delicate porcelain piece depicts an attractive young woman with bobbed hair, a rope of pearls, red slippers, and a full blue skirt which forms a candy dish. Although it was a warm day, she recalls, I shivered for some reason as I picked it up to carry it downstairs. It was cold to the touch, and it was not dusty, though it had been there for at least several months. As Dorothy placed her new find on the console in the front hall, her cats, which had been following her, ran into the next room. Later that night, as she walked down the dark hall toward the powder room under the stairs, she felt a definite feminine push at her back, shoving her toward the bathroom door and away from the figurine as she passed it. I realized then that I didn't want it in my house, yet I couldn't bear to throw out such a good piece, she recalled. It both repelled and attracted me. So the next day I called the woman who had lived there before me, and she told her that she had left something behind. I asked her if she wanted it. No, she said very sharply. Put it back up in the attic or throw it out. And she hung up on me. Very strange. Still feeling restless, she continued, I carried it into the living room and tried it out on the table there. Again, the cats were sleeping peacefully until I set it down. They woke up and left the room, and I also sensed a feeling of something or someone there. Finally, I put it back out in the hall. Later, I had to go out, and while I was gone, a friend stopped by to see me. The next day, she called and remarked on my unusual nightlight. What light? I asked, puzzled as the house had been dark when I come home. Why, I looked in through the glass in the front door, she replied, and there was a kind of glow around the figure on your console in the front hall. Feeling rather nervous, Doris had then gathered up the figurine and taken it over to the Stevens' house. He told her that he got no particular vibrations from it, but thought that the fact that it was in the same period as the house was significant. I understand that the woman for whom the house was built was quite aristocratic, and often felt that she had not given her due in life, he explained. She died in the house, and the husband, a doctor, later remarried. My feeling is that the figurine had been a gift to her, and perhaps even resembled her as she saw herself, he went on. When it was put up in the attic and she was replaced by another woman in the house, naturally, she felt some resentment. In this case, the ending is a happy one. The figurine remained at Stevens in a place of prominence, where it is often noticed and commented upon by guests. Who could ask for more? Doris believes that whatever psychic gifts she has have been inherited from her mother. My sister in Brunswick is intuitive also, but she doesn't like to discuss it, since some of hers have been unpleasant, she added. Mine also. There was, for example, the time when she vividly seemed to see herself on the wrong side of the road in an automobile on Victory Drive. I wasn't afraid, she remembered, but I was wondering, how did I get there? 3 days later, she and her husband were hit by a motorist on Victory Drive, whose car hydroplaned in the wet street during a rainstorm. It came to rest just as she had pictured it, on the wrong side of the median. Another time, she recalled, I was sitting at home at my dressing table. Suddenly, a large glass perfume bottle in front of me simply tipped over by itself. While I was looking at it, but not touching it, spilled the perfume. This was just before a young man with whom I was very close committed suicide. If you enjoyed today's story, comment below that you did like it. I will be uploading more crochet and scary story videos. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will be uploading regularly. If you know of a scary story that you would like me to tell, comment below and I will do what I can about telling it. Stay tuned because I also have my own ghost stories to tell. Again, subscribe, enjoy your day, love my wonky endings on my crochet. We will fix that. Have a good day. Bye for now.